What's up, psychedelic investors? My name's James, and you're watching The Psychedelic Investor, your number one news source for psychedelic stocks. Today, we're just going to do a brief roundup of some of the news stories that we may have missed for the smaller cap companies in the psychedelic medicines field. We're going to be looking at Mydecine's new AI division, we're going to be looking at Braxia's new clinical trial, and a partnership among many other stories as well. So I hope that you guys enjoy this episode. If you do, make sure that you like and subscribe to support the channel and smash that notifications bell to make sure you don't miss any episodes going forward. Enjoy the episode. To start off, we're going to be looking at Mydecine, which is ticker symbol MYCOF on the OTC market and MYCO on the NEO market. And the news that we have for you today is that Mydecine has unveiled their artificial intelligence drug discovery platform in conjunction with the University of Alberta. This program, if successful, will use artificial intelligence and machine learning to build new psychedelic compounds from the ground up, screening hundreds of thousands of different potential new molecules to see how they will react in humans without ever having to produce the compound themselves. This type of machine-created medicines in combination with personalized medicine is definitely going to be one of the biggest trends in healthcare going forward over the next decade or two. The main question here is whether or not Mydecine will be one of the companies to crack this code and build the right algorithms. We have thousands of companies across the entire world attempting to do this right now, including some in the psychedelic medicines landscape, such as MagicMed, which was recently acquired by the Nasdaq listed Enveros Biosciences. So the probability that Mydecine will be one of the companies that ultimately cracks this code is probably low, I would say. Now, having said that, it is great that they are putting the money and resources towards this next generation medicine, and if they succeed, the company is going to be extremely successful. I wish them all the luck in the world, and hopefully they will be one of the companies that cracks this code. Next up, we're going to be looking at Braxia, which is ticker symbol BRAXF on the OTC market, and BRAX on the CSE. And the news that we have for you today is that Braxia Scientific has been awarded Government of Canada funding to complete the first ever ketamine clinical trial treating bipolar disorder. Now, a reminder, Braxia, who used to be Champignon Brands, primarily operates ketamine clinics throughout Canada, treating mental health issues like depression. They also work on developing and commercializing new psychedelic compounds. This trial that we're talking about right now, in conjunction with the University of Toronto, will, quote, investigate the use, safety, and efficacy of repeated doses of intravenous ketamine in patients with bipolar depression. So this is super important because even though only like 2 to 3% of the population suffers with bipolar disorder, apparently 2/3 of people with this condition receiving treatments do not get better. On top of this, bipolar disorder carries with it the highest rates of suicide of any mental health disorder. The rates of suicide are an astounding 5 to 10% for people with bipolar disorder, which is horrifying. So hopefully ketamine therapy is more effective than our current methods. And good on Braxia for running this study. Hopefully it means that help is on the way for those struggling with bipolar disorder, and congrats on getting it funded by the Canadian government too. That must feel really nice. Next up, we're going to be looking at a partnership between Entheon Biomedical and Pharma. Entheon Biomedical's ticker symbol is ENTBF on the OTC market and ENBI on the CSE, whereas Psilo's ticker symbol is Psilo on the OTC market. Now, this partnership has to do with Entheon Biomedical's wholly owned subsidiary, Halogen Life Sciences Genetic Test Kit. As a reminder, Entheon is a company that's working mostly with DMT, and they acquired the company Halogen recently, which claims to have a testing kit that can judge whether or not a person may have a bad reaction to psychedelics based on their genes. Now, I'm actually going to be testing this genetic test kit myself over the next month sometime, so really make sure that you've hit that notifications bell to make sure you don't miss that episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see whether my genes are trash or not, so I'm sure you guys will love that episode. But getting back to the one that we're currently on, for this deal, there seems to be 2 important pieces. First, Psilo will be using Entheon's testing kits in their retreats to help guests make, quote, informed decisions through better access to information about themselves. This in and of itself is important because I believe that this is the very first large-scale use of this genetic test kit, or at least it's the first deal to be made public. This will help Entheon get real-world data on this kit and how effective it really is. The second reason this deal is important is that Silo will help sell Entheon's genetic test kits, and the company will receive compensation for every successful referral that they make. So this is cool because if the test kit is successful for Silo, then Silo will be an effective sales rep for the product. And if it helps spread the adoption of this technology, then great. In other words, it's a win-win for both companies. So this test kit actually really fascinates me, and I talk about it a lot on this show because one of the biggest problems in psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy is that some people just seem to be hardwired to have bad trips, and their experiences could potentially jeopardize the potential of psychedelic medicines for the entire industry. Now, if the main stumbling block here for causing bad trips is that it's just people's mental state, then other than talk therapy, there's not much we can do to help limit the frequency of bad trips. However, if people who have bad trips every single time do so because of a genetic reason, and these people can be screened out with a genetic test, then a genetic test kit in many respects would essentially enable psychedelic-assisted psychotherapy. So we're going to be watching this deal, this partnership, closely to see how it works and to see if any data comes out about how effective these psychedelic test kits really are. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think of these genetic test kits. Do you think that this is a game changer? Or is this just a gimmick? Either way, let me know if you're excited to see me try the genetic test kit live on this channel. That'll be coming up sometime, hopefully in the next month, maybe even in the next couple weeks. Next up, we're going to be looking at Bright Minds, which is ticker symbol BMBIF on the OTC market, and Drug on the CSE. The news that we have for you today is that Bright Minds Biosciences has announced that they have applied to be uplisted to the Nasdaq exchange. Now, this means they've joined the likes of Numinous and Field Trip, companies that have applied to be uplisted to the prestigious market. Currently, there are only 4 psychedelic medicines companies on the Nasdaq, and those are, of course, MindMed, Atai, Compass, and Enveric. So Bright Minds hopes to be among the next wave of newcomers. If they're successful, they're going to have on the Nasdaq the ticker symbol Drug, which is very cool. That's the one they have on the CSE, and it's definitely one of the top 5 coolest tickers, if that means anything. Now, Bright Minds is working on a different problem than most other psychedelic medicines companies are. They have their own novel drug, which affects a different receptor than most psychedelic medicines. Most psychedelic medicines affect something that's called the 5-HT2A receptor, whereas theirs affects the 5-HT2C receptor in the brain. And they're aiming to use this drug to treat epilepsy. Now, this is one of those companies that I have zero idea if they're going to be successful or not, but if they are, it could be a game-changing company. Epilepsy is a really serious problem for a lot of people that don't have the greatest, and it doesn't have the greatest treatment options for it. So if Bright Minds is successful, then more power to them. Still, the impetus is on the company to prove that their treatments are effective before I get excited about the company. In terms of the Nasdaq uplisting, I have zero idea if the committee, when it gets together, is going to accept them or not, but it would be huge for the company if they did, so good luck, Bright Minds. Finally, we're going to be looking at Small Pharma, which is on the TSX Venture Exchange under the ticker symbol DMT. And if Bright Minds had one of the coolest ticker symbols, Small Pharma definitely has the coolest ticker symbol with DMT. The news that we have for you today, other than how cool Small Pharma's ticker symbol is that Roth Capital has initiated coverage on Small Pharma with a buy rating and a target price of $5. Now, take this for what it's worth. I personally don't really put any stock into analysts' coverage. They are wrong as often as they are right. But still, for a company sitting at only 60 cents, getting to $5 would be more than an 8x. Now, I personally don't own any Small Pharma at the moment, but honestly, I am tempted to get myself a little. Small Pharma is a company working with DMT, the psychedelic compound that intrigues me the most. And I have been this close to buying some of the company in the past, but I've always kind of chickened out at the last moment. The main thing holding me back is how little cash the company has, but if it can get its stock price up a little bit, and then it can, sell a little bit, dilute a little bit to get a bit of capital on them and have a decent amount of money, then maybe small pharma could become a legitimate player and I might have to pull the trigger. Either way, I will let you guys know in the future. Alright guys, so let me know down in the comments what you think about the genetic test kit. Are you excited about it? Do you think it's a gimmick? I really want to hear your opinions, and also give me any ideas for questions that I can ask the CEO of Entheon, because he's actually going to be on the call when I take the genetic test kit. He's going to be explaining how it works and what's going on. So if you have any great questions for him about the genetic test kit, let me know that down in the comments as well. All right, guys, this is James from Psychedelic Investor. I'm signing out. I'll see you next time. I love you all. Peace and love.